Welcome, everybody. Talks for the People, episode 36. You saw the thumbnail, you clicked on it, but in case you didn't know, tonight is going to be very spoiler heavy. We usually try to get you to watch these episodes. We want you to watch everything you can, but if you have not seen the Black Widow movie, do yourself a favor and come back and watch this episode later. We will be heavily discussing Black Widow. Full spoilers on the board. We're going to be discussing what we thought about the movie, where we think it's headed, and things we did and did not like about the movie. Tonight we have a special guest with us. If you have seen our comment section, you've heard Cody talk about him. This is the one and only Renegade Gamer. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing very well. I'm just enjoying vacation right now. It's nice to be off the road for a while.
Sounds good. How are you two doing tonight, Cody and Steven?
Doing good, man. Just we went and watched it last night, the movie, and been ready for this all day. Ready to discuss it.
I am doing swimmingly myself, and I'm not gonna lie, I've seen it. I saw it Saturday, and they have been on my mind since. So I will have no problem talking about them.
All right, well, good to know, good to know. Let's go ahead and get started. First things first, I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't feel like I wasted 2 hours of my time. In my opinion, it is not one of the stronger entries into the MCU, but it's far from the worst. I do encourage everybody to go see it. Again, if you're watching this having not seen it, that's on you at this point. But I felt like it was a very good movie. Not the best. Could have been a lot worse. I feel like the director they had pushed a few angles that could have been done differently, but it definitely had its saving graces. What are y'all's overall thoughts on the movie before we start picking it apart a little bit more?
Go ahead, Steven.
Well, I thought that similar to Captain America, the First Avenger, in my personal opinion, it wasn't, Captain America, First Avenger, for example, wasn't action-packed filled. So it's not that it was boring, it just wasn't one of the better movies in my opinion. Now, that being said, this is a fantastic background story, which Marvel has done phenomenally since the beginning, unlike DC, regarding its characters, of telling us a little bit about the people we're enjoying on the cinematic screen. Telling us, hey, this is where they came from, this is what they're about, this is why they are the way that they are. Unlike Killer Croc from Suicide Squad, if you don't read comics, you're like, who the hell is that? And why is he important to me? So they've done a phenomenal job with this, and I thought this movie in particular, Black Widow, was a fantastic, just, hey, here's just a little bit more about one of your favorite characters. This is going to fill you in on it. So per Alan's point, it wasn't top-notch, the best, but it was action-packed. It exceeded my expectations considering going into it. In my mind, I was thinking, all right, well, she doesn't have super strength. She's not super fast. She's not invincible like Deadpool. She's a human. How entertaining, how action-packed could it possibly be after watching the Hulk take down buildings? It exceeded expectations. It was a good movie for what it was. I liked it.
Well, it didn't blow my skirt up necessarily, but I did enjoy the movie. Maybe I had a high bar for it, but I thought they did a good job. It was well done. I thought it was paced well. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot of dead area in it, slow parts of the movie. Some characters that I wasn't necessarily familiar with, not being a huge comic guy by any means, but I thought that the comic relief with the Red Guardian was really good. I enjoyed that, although I think that Wallace may be one of those. The hard-nosed comic guys I've heard that wasn't a fan of him being the comic relief.
Kidding? I love the Red Guardian.
Okay,
best things about it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I'll tell you what else I enjoyed. I didn't expect anyone to be on screen that could compete with Scarlett Johansson, but the girl that plays her sister is very attractive, and at times I thought looked even better than Black Widow. So that was a plus. I enjoyed that. But overall, I liked the film. I just didn't. It didn't blow up. Didn't blow my skirt up quite like I thought, but I did enjoy it. I'll watch it again for sure.
You got anything to add to that? I know you're a little bit deeper in the comics than we have dabbled so much in the past. You know a little bit more backstory. You got anything to add?
Well, I do. I got some stuff, but we can go into it. But as you want my general observation on it, it's actually two. I think this is probably one of the best James Bond films I've seen in a while.
I have seen that. I have seen that comment.
I'll say that part first. I don't. That's one side of it. So obviously, I did enjoy the movie because I do like James Bond type stuff. But as far as a Marvel film goes, I think it's one of the weaker entries. However, I did like all the background and the character development they gave to Black Widow, but I don't really see it adding a lot to the overall story. I guess is what I'm getting at.
I definitely agree. So I think we're all on the same page about the overall feel of the movie. One thing that I wanted to bring up, I was watching a YouTube video that had some funny moments when they were interviewing David Harbour, Florence Pugh, and Scarlett Johansson. And one thing that I found interesting, one of the standout moments of the movie, not standout moments of the movie, one of the comedic highlights of the movie that was so good it made it into the trailer of the movie was when Yelena was talking to Natasha about, what's with your poses? Are you... Oh.
Why do you always do that thing?
Do what?
The thing you do when you're fighting. And this thing that you do when you whip your hair when you're fighting with the arm and the hair, and you do like a fighting pose. It's a fighting pose. You're a total poser.
I'm not a poser.
And stare up and all that. That was not in the original script. Yelena, Florence Pugh was talking to Scarlett Johansson in between takes, messing with her. She was like, so what's this with you, all these landings you do, and you flick your hair back and all that? Their mics were still live. The director heard everything they were talking about. They're like, you know what? We're putting that in the movie. It was not in the script. Florence Pugh was genuinely having this conversation with Scarlett Johansson, and the director's like, you know what? We're keeping it. So,
I love it.
And it became one of the highlights of the trailer, at least.
And then later on in the movie, she goes to try it, and she's like, "Oh, that's disgusting."
I like that too. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Another thing that a lot of people have pointed out too, I want to know how y'all feel about it. This was supposed to be Black Widow's movie, even though it does feel about 4 years too late. They should have released it right after Civil War. But that being said, I'm still a Scarlett Johansson fan. We had this conversation earlier today, Cody. Me and you did. But Florence Pugh stole the show. I'm a big Scarlett Johansson fan. I love everything she's done as Black Widow with the character. But Florence Pugh, in my opinion, definitely stole the show. She was the standout star, which I guess is the point. If you watched all the way through to the end credit sequence, they're definitely setting up bigger things for that character. But for somebody that was supposed to be a side character in a movie, they definitely went above and beyond to make her stand out in that movie. And she did a phenomenal job.
I mean, I could agree more. And that end cut scene for me was perfect regarding how well she did in the movie. It was almost like a dual actor thing right here. It's not. There wasn't a main. They were both the main actor. It almost felt like to me at times like the movie was about them, not just Black Widow. Even though it is. I mean, technically, Black Widow is the group that they're in. I mean, all of those were Black Widows. So I mean, the movie being after Scarlett Johansson and her character was great, but letting her kind of Florence step in and shine a little bit to kind of lead towards the future, which they winky faced at the end, like So she did great. I loved it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Alan. I hadn't had time to, like I said, we watched it last night, so it hadn't even been 24 hours since we've seen the film. But so I haven't had really chance to put all these things together. But
did you have to see a doctor about your
Huh?
It hasn't been 24 hours. Did you have to see a doctor about your
Oh, no. That's
okay, it went down by itself.
You got ish on your back?
Not on Wednesdays, I don't.
I already got for this part.
No, I hadn't. To Alan's point, I haven't really put this together yet, but that's a really good point. That the movie, she's such a big role in the movie, and then with the end credit being with of course I'm talking about her sister here. With the end credit being about her, when the film's over, you're like, okay, so this is setting up for her to have something down the road. Apparently her and Hawkeye are probably gonna have something going on in another film. So
I've heard a theory that the woman, Julia Louis Dreyfus.
Yeah, Valentina. Yeah.
That basically she was putting together I guess you could call them the Dark Avenger team, the Thunderbolts. And
right.
So I mean, you got she has a super soldier.
Yes.
She's got a widow.
Right.
Let's see. I guess she needs a deity.
Yeah.
Which isn't there a show called Loki on right now?
I mean, that could be setting up as well.
That'd be my guess is where they're going with this. Maybe try to
question for because I'm not huge. I love comics and all that, but for someone who's not deep into it, how comparable would you say Thunderbolts are to, say, Suicide Squad in the DC universe? Comparable, maybe?
Not really.
Yeah, because it seems like a bunch of people that aren't bad, but they're kind of misplaced in what they do, and they're kind of like, hey, we could use your talent, so we're going to recruit you, and you're going to come over here and do that kind of thing. So
and this is probably going to take some comic fans off. They're kind of like the B Squad in a way. There's a lot.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's not that they're any worse than the Avengers. It's just, everybody else got. It's like brand name versus the,
Oh God, they're great. The great value Avengers.
That's a good name for them.
The generic. But I mean, there has been some cool storylines in comics with Thunderbolts, where at one point in time they took a bunch of villains, made them the heroes. But for the most part, usually they're just basically kind of like a B Squad sort of deal.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha. Now going on to this, I know you said you did enjoy him in the movie. Have you read any of the reviews, seen any people commenting? Fans of the movie, fans of Marvel seem to be really torn on Red Guardian. A lot of people are praising the comedy relief. They're saying he was good, he portrayed it well, and then, I mean, I was on call it what it is, the cesspool of Reddit, and there was just a string of people that were all in agreement that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Red Guardian is supposed to be the Russian Captain America. And there was a lot of people that were upset that he was portrayed, in their words, as like a buffoon, just there for comedy relief and all that. I don't know enough about the character. Can you shed any light on that one for us?
As far as the movie goes, I thought he worked fine. I mean, I don't usually take what I know from comics into the movies a lot of times. I
Right.
learned a long time ago not to do that. It's an adaptation. But I mean, as far as the character goes, I thought he worked fine where he was. It made a lot of sense when he was the way he was.
What? And I was
So-
going to say something I noticed is that they almost built it up to kind of let you know in advance, like, hey, he fought Captain America toe to toe. He's a boss, but he's been out of practice a little bit. He's been locked up, you know. So I think they kind of set the mood to say, hey, look, he is awesome, but he's a little out of shape, kind of thing. So it's
Mr. Incredible.
even if he is more,
Exactly.
I guess, bad A than the movie portrayed him as. I think the lead up kind of filled
Well, I mean,
that in.
For 20 years, and he's been sitting on ice. So
Right.
All right, look, one issue I have with the film is they missed out on a perfect opportunity to put fat people humor in there. And when he's trying on his suit in the house and buttoning it, when he goes in there and says, "Hey, look, it still fits," a button should have popped off of it and like flew through the window or something, broke the window. That would have like all fat people would have been like, "Yes, yes."
you know, the thing that I find humorous is that Taskmaster wasn't the one that they were all shooting out, because it's not even mentioned it's supposed to be Taskmaster in the movie.
Right.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about the Mimic, the character with the ski mask on that turns out to be, that was supposed to be Taskmaster, which in the comics that's a pretty big villain. And I didn't even know that was who that was supposed to be until after I got out of the film.
Right. Now that's what I heard. Everybody was saying that it was Taskmaster. I was under the assumption it was Taskmaster based on stuff I had seen on the internet. But even coming from you verify what I thought in my head. That character was never referred to as Taskmaster in the film.
I was calling it the Mimic until actually I talked to a buddy of mine last night. He's like, "What'd you think of Taskmaster?" Who? Where was he in the film? Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah.
Now, given what I have learned about Taskmaster or that character in general after the fact, I think that, and I mean, with the MCU branching off into the multiverse 110% going forward, I think it's possible we see the Taskmaster more. But I mean, if we think about the powers that this character has, being able to mimic you 100%, that could lead to some interesting fight sequences. I mean, that character went toe to toe with Black Widow, and neither one of them had an edge up. I mean, they knew exactly what was coming, exactly what was happening. I mean, imagine putting Taskmaster at full strength against somebody like, I mean, would she stand a chance against Captain America? I mean, would that fight be as, just head on? I mean, what would happen in that scenario?
I can see that one being close as opposed to if he got in a fight with like Iron Man, because I mean he'd have to be already equipped with the
True
stuff to do what Iron Man does. And I don't know how he would do with Thor, since Thor's got the hammer.
Got the hammer.
I mean, I was fine with what they did with the Taskmaster in the movie, but like I said, I didn't even realize that's who that was supposed to be.
Right. I
didn't follow any marketing up to the film. I went into the thing blind pretty much, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
I want to say this before I forget.
Go ahead.
Since me and Alan are music people, most people that know me know that I'm not a Nirvana fan. And they tried. They were sneaky. But 2 words into Smells Like Teen Spirit, I knew that was that song by that band. So you can't sneak that by me, Marvel.
So, I mean, they tried. They
But they did. They made up for it with American Pie, though. I love that song.
Yeah, that was a good song.
No, overall, it was a good movie. I know we touched on it briefly, but I have a few plot holes with with the end credit scene, and I want to know y'all's thoughts on it. So, Yelena, all she knows initially is that Black Widow is dead. She's visiting her grave. She's paying her respects. So, Yelena knows how good of a friend Black Widow was to all of the Avengers, and yet she takes the word of this woman she's never met before, who just walks up to her randomly and says, "This man is responsible for your sister's death." You gonna take a random stranger's word for something instead of like? And she could go ask Captain America. She could go.
Verify.
I mean, I know this takes place after Endgame, but at least half the Avengers are still on Earth. You know, they're reachable. She had plenty of reputable sources. I know why they did it. They're setting up the bigger scene. They're setting up something bigger. We do know a Hawkeye TV show is coming out soon where he's also going to be training Kate Bishop. That part's not a spoiler. You can find that on Disney Plus's website. So we know that Hawkeye has his own show coming. We know that now that Yelena is probably going to tie into that somehow. But this is just my brain working. Wouldn't you have gone to the horse's mouth on what happened to your sister?
See, I got the impression that they knew each other from the scene.
Yeah, I mean, she says, "I have your next target."
Yeah,
So that would indicate.
Okay, so maybe I did miss something. Yeah.
that's
I
just
mean,
yeah, but I could be completely wrong.
I mean, I don't know why exactly they. Well, I guess. Let's see. Hawkeye and Black Widow were both sent to the planet by themselves, weren't they? If I
Yes.
remember right.
Correct.
And then Hawkeye was the only one that returns, I guess.
Right, but I mean, you would think though. I mean, you would think though that the other Avengers would at least believe Hawkeye. If Hawkeye came home and told her the truth, look, I tried to sacrifice myself. Natasha knew I had a family and refused to let me do it. That's why she sacrificed herself, because she knew I had a family. And you would think that Captain America, Tony, Hulk, all of them would believe it. Because if they didn't, I mean, Hulk would have already killed Hawkeye. Let's be honest. Hulk would have already snapped Hawkeye in half if he didn't believe him.
So, I mean, so basically, how does a rumor get around like that when everybody in the room is going to 100% believe that, based on the situation, it is what it is, not, oh, he didn't come back with her, he murdered her, you know?
Right.
So it's like, how does a rumor get around like, oh, this person, so it's like this woman is obviously kind of snaky, trying to put something in there to get something started, it seems.
Well, I mean, and we know she's a little bit snaky already from Falcon and Winter Soldier. She's trying to convince, what's his face? I can't even remember his name right now, but she's trying to convince,
or something like that.
yeah, she's trying to convince him that he was right the entire time, that everything he did was justified and that he needs to continue on the path that he's on. So we already know that she's shady and that she's up to no good. So,
Interesting to see how it turns out.
Just saying.
Have you watched that yet? The Falcon Winter Soldier?
I saw the first 3 episodes and I stopped. I don't know why it just didn't catch me for some reason. I did watch this.
I mean, look, I was that way with WandaVision. It took Steven 6 months to convince me to finish watching WandaVision because I watched that first episode and I'm like, this is boring as hell. And so
it got so much better.
Yeah,
that one got much better. That being said, I know we're trying to keep this one short and concise tonight. We just wanted to have a little discussion on the movie. Before we go, I know we discussed it a few episodes back, but we'll let our guest go first tonight. Which MCU, what Phase 4 movies you looking forward to the most? I think it was you that said there's not a lot of Phase 4 coming up that you're necessarily looking forward to, but what does...
If I'm being honest with you, I honestly think the series is kind of over because Endgame kind of ended it, but they keep going afterwards. But
Yeah.
if you want to, I am looking forward to watching in the future. It'd be the Spider-Man one, most of all.
Okay.
Just looking forward to seeing all the Peter Parkers in it, all the villains and everything.
So, based on that response, you haven't seen all of Loki yet.
Netflix? Did you say Netflix? Or
Yeah,
Disney?
all of Loki.
Oh no, I haven't watched Loki at all.
Okay, so if you watch Loki, it will fill in some gaps that might change your mind on it being over.
Well, I mean, I've heard it that if I remember right, I think Loki goes back into the past before the events of Infinity War or something like that. I've heard a little bit.
They by the time you get to the end of the series, they are hammering into your head that we are now officially in the era of the multiverse. I'll put it that way. By the time you get to episode 6. So
I just felt like they could end it the whole thing with the Avengers Endgame, or maybe the epilogue of Spider-Man Homecoming. But
Yeah.
I think what you're getting at is that you, for all intents and purposes, in your opinion, they should have just ended it.
well, the story was over. They finished it,
Yeah,
and it just felt like just keep on writing afterwards.
so you're not looking forward to the
Well,
multiverse
I don't have much interest in Shinzing and the Ten Rings, the Immortals movie, or a lot of other ones. But
I
Spider-Man,
got you. Well,
that's no problem. I have no.
I guess to follow up with that, I'm kind of the same way. It's like, they're building new characters, like Hawkeye's training somebody new, a new Black Widow character stepping in. It's like, none of these are the main Avenger characters. So there's nothing really right now that excites me to the point of, oh man, I gotta see this. Like the third Iron Man, or what happens next in Captain America, like the Civil War's next. What's going on? There's no huge characters that you want to be like, I gotta see what's going on next.
I didn't mean to derail you, man.
No, you're fine. I mean, that's the kind of opinion I'm looking for, and that's what we brought up a few weeks ago when we talked about Marvel Phase 4 and beyond. I really think that's why they are stacking. I mean, the cast we had, it was stacked, but they're stacking the cast for these upcoming movies because they hooked everybody into the MCU with all the characters that the regular, not non-hardcore, just superhero fans, we've already seen. You're right. Their story ended with Endgame for the most part, but that's all the heroes that the casual superhero fans grew up with.
Sure.
And so now I feel that's why they're stacking these casts, especially in talking about movies like The Eternals, because because they want people to go. They want people to go see those movies. I mean, you got Jon Snow, you got Selma Hayek. I mean, who's not going to go watch Selma Hayek in a superhero movie? Even if you wait till it's on Disney Plus for free, you're going to go watch Selma Hayek in some tight spandex as well. I mean, let's be honest.
I will put in Dust from Dawn and watch her.
Yeah, that too. Very good movie.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, I'm open to always watching new stuff, but I mean, if you're asking if I'm excited about it, I mean, the only one it is the Spider-Man one I'm really excited about. But I'm always open to watching anything new because I may not be having it, that's how you learn things. You open up to it. I mean, I didn't know anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy before I watched the film, and I love that team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to the next Guardians movie.
Oh yeah, that was the other one I was looking forward to.
Although it's probably coming to an end as well because Dave Bautista has said this will be the last one he plays Drax in, and I mean that's his decision. Now he's walking away from the role, but I don't know yet if that means so it's like not. Spoiler that he's not playing Drax. I'm not saying anything happens. I know nothing. I know Dave Bautista has stated he wants to move on and that he will no longer play Drax after Guardians Volume 3. So
Well, it's not like he's been in a whole bunch of them. He's been in 5. This will be his 5th film. I mean, it's not like he's had to do a whole lot of work. It's not like Iron Man. Been in nearly every Marvel film.
Think about it in this perspective, though. You're talking about especially characters that aren't fully covered in body paint, like Drax. I mean, when did the first Guardians come out? Is that movie, what, 8, 9 years old?
When did the first?
I think it came out in 2014.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that old.
6, 7 years old?
6, 7, yeah.
I think it's 2000.
I mean, 6, 7 years when you're talking about a youthful,
2014.
2014. So, I mean, and especially for characters like Robert Downey Jr., it's probably time. I mean, dude, he's getting long in the tooth because the first Iron Man was definitely 10 plus years ago. So he's probably getting tired of working out so much. He's getting old.
I remember watching him in movies from the early 90s. So yeah, he's got to be.
He was in some 80s movies I've seen.
Yeah, and don't forget his
87 or 86. Yeah, I remember.
And look, and you can't forget his wrestling career either. I mean, for as fake as wrestling is, if at one point he was doing a full-time schedule and they were on the road 300 nights a week. I mean, that takes a toll on the body too. So he's probably wanting to just go ahead.
He was always watched as a villain.
I mean, he did great in that movie, The Army of the Dead. I enjoyed him in that one. The zombie movie. I mean, it just came out on Netflix early this year.
That's right. I hadn't seen that one yet. I want to watch it. Anyway,
it's good. I enjoyed it, and he wasn't full body paint, which I'm used to seeing in Drax. So.
Yeah. Well, I know we are. Go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to point out, back to Black Widow, that my wife pointed out yesterday. She was talking with some people. If you watch Avengers Infinity War, there's a scene where Black Widow is wearing her sister's vest. And I thought that was a freaking cool ass Easter egg to kind of throw in there. Watching it, it's like, yo, they had a whole little sister moment with that, and then she gave it to her and whatnot, and then one of the last few things you see her in before she dies. Now that was, of course, she has Endgame too, but in Infinity War, I think it's the battle at Wakanda. I think she's wearing the vest in that scene. So just check it out. There was an Easter egg in Infinity War. Black Widow's actually wearing the vest that her sister gave her. I thought that was super neat. How Marvel and Disney and stuff like that throw these little bitty things in there that you don't think you'll notice, and you're like, yo, no way. Especially since the movie was made first. It's like, wait, what? So I thought that was cool.
Absolutely.
That made me think of one more thing. A lot of times when they try to fit these films in, they do like a biopic, but it takes place in between films and stuff. I think they have to draw a fine line between it fitting into the world that it goes in and also making it a standalone film. And I think they did a good job of this one. I feel like if you watched this, you would not be, and you didn't watch any other Avengers movie, you would not be completely lost. Other than you may not know what the Avengers is, I feel like you could watch this and you would feel satisfied that it was a good movie. And you wouldn't be like, well, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I thought, in my opinion, I felt like they did a good job of that.
You had a list in the living room, correct, of where you gotta watch the Marvel movies.
Dad does, yeah.
Well, I rest my case.
What?
You want to know what happens from point A to point B? You gotta watch them in order.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that if somebody wanted to watch, if they just like Scarlett Johansson, let's just say,
Okay,
they're like, I don't want to watch all these Avenger movies, but I want to know what the Black Widow is. So I'm going to watch this movie. It looks cool. They could watch that movie and not be lost.
Yeah,
Like
you don't feel like you're missing something.
Movie, they'll go, okay. This was
I
a good
got
movie.
you. Yeah.
Like they wouldn't be like the whole time going, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
Like, be just like if you was to watch.
well,
if we're gonna go to Star Wars here, if you was to watch the film they made about finding the
Rogue One. That Rogue One, the one about the plans for the Death Star.
Right.
If you were to watch just that movie, you wouldn't have a damn clue what they're trying to do. But if you watch all the Star Wars movies, you know that, okay, that the whole point of this movie is they're trying to get the plans that they had in A New Hope.
Yeah,
but I mean,
no, I agree with you. I think Marvel has done very good with making their movies, for the most part, standalone, where you don't have to watch them all to enjoy that individual movie because you don't feel lost the entire movie. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with this.
Right.
I kind of disagree with you on that. Because while, yeah, a lot of them do stand alone and they're all different types of genres. Because, you know, like Captain America, Winter Soldier, that's kind of like a spy film. And, you know, well, anyway, whatever. But the problem I have is that, like you go watch Guardians of the Galaxy, you don't have to know anything that's happened in the prior past about any of the Marvel movies. Because the only thing in that movie that has any ties to what's going on is the Stone and Thanos. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you go and walk into like Civil War, you got lots of stuff. If you've never seen any of the ones except for Civil War, and you don't know anything about the Marvel characters, you could be completely lost. That's what I'm getting at.
It's kind of like a Suicide Squad if the other movies weren't released first.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know who the hell half these people are.
I was making when I said the list earlier to you. You got a list in there and it's written in order about what way to watch the Marvel films. Because if you don't, you could miss a plot point or something. Oh, yeah. No, I definitely think you should watch them in order. But I'm just, if just a random person said, I'm going to watch this Black Widow movie, they can watch it and enjoy it. But they may be a little lost on why. They may be wondering who the Avengers are. What the Avengers are, there's the Cody trials and all that mess, because that is brought up in this film. Yeah. I mean, we took with my daughter there, and she's like, "Who is this? Why is this going on?" I kept getting asked questions all. Now she's 12, but but I was getting asked questions constantly. I was like, "Happened in another film. Happened this movie. Happened that movie." That's the point of making is that you don't necessarily need all the background information, but by God, it helps if you need it.
And Cody, if you've never watched the entire MCU in chronological order, it's worth going back and rewatching them in chronological order. Yeah, that we're gonna do that. I'm just whenever we get moved. I mean, it's a lot of movies at this point. It's an undertaking. It's like what, we're up 22, 23 movies total to watch all of them in chronological. Right. Because if you add in the Widow now, and then you've got after Endgame, you had Spider-Man, and there was one more that closed out like the main movies. Yeah, you're up to like 22, 23 movies. It's an undertaking, but it's a great watch. Even if you do one or two a week, like it's a great to sit there and watch them all in chronological order.
I concur.
All right, well. Yeah. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up this week. Before we get out of here, Mr. Renegade Gamer, I know we're not the biggest channel on YouTube, but was there anything you wanted to shout out? Anybody you wanted to give a shout out to? Anything you want to let the people know about? Yeah, subscribe to this channel. Yeah. Y'all are awesome. Y'all need to keep doing what you're doing. I like it. Do you want to do self-promoting on your channel? If you want to go to my channel, it's the Renegade Gamer. Whatever. The Renegade Gamer. Actually, I don't know what the last four numbers are. I think it's 5897. This is horrible. You can find. I'll tell you what. If you click on his name down in our comments. If you go to subscribe to his channel. 2581, I think so. But yeah, I do a lot of video game playthroughs and everything. I'm not the most hilarious person in the world, but I'm there to show off the games more than I am to do anything else. Absolutely. It's really fun. If you like Kingdom Hearts games, watch him play Kingdom Hearts. It's a lot of fun. I also do a lot of Resident Evils. Yes. I haven't played have you played Village yet? No, I haven't played Village yet. I haven't played Village. I want to get my hands on it when I get more available time. I enjoyed 7. I played through it to get to 100% it on Xbox. I think I came up like 2 trophies short, and I was on my 6th or 7th playthrough, so it got kind of long in the tooth for me. But no, anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. Thank you everybody for hanging with us. Cody, Steven, anything left?
Subscribe, comment below, let us know what you thought of the movie.
All right, everybody, peace out. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.